Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. We're live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Welcome. The federal government says the nation's march to greatness is just a matter of time as it is in keeping with the implementation of the next level agenda. President Muhammadu Buhari said these while inaugurating one of the road projects executed under the restoration agenda of the Masari administration in Katsina State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo completes the report.
The 32-kilometer Shinkafi Yandaki Gafia Abdallawa Dankaba Road, inaugurated by the president, was executed at 3.3 billion naira. It traverses 15 communities in Katsina and Kaita local government areas of the state, enhancing intercommunal relations and livelihoods of the people. President Buhari said the provision of critical infrastructure, especially roads, as essential arteries for development is not only a commendable strategy, but in line with the change philosophy of his administration.
Apart from easy movement of farm produce to and from markets, the social life of all the communities served by such roads would undoubtedly improve for the better. Well done, Katsina State. I look forward to hearing, sharing news in the not too distant future that these roads have become a robust catalyst for the rapid socio-economic transformation of the affected rural communities. May I urge you not to relent in ensuring that rural communities in need of this kind of infrastructural development are given the attention they deserve.
President Buhari used the opportunity to thank the people of Katsina for their massive support to the governing APC during the last general elections. Governor Aminu Bello Masari had told the president that since coming to power, his administration has completed 13 inherited road projects, constructed 46 new ones, rehabilitated 47 others, while 44 are at various stages of completion, comprising one feeder road in each of the 34 local government areas of the state.
The state has been very much mindful of the need for infrastructure development across the nooks and crannies of the state, particularly roads, hence its modest performance in the sector.
More roads projects constructed by the Masari administration in fulfillment of pre-election promises are built for inauguration in the coming days. From Katsina, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Nigerians, especially victims of the various acts of criminality in the country, to exercise patience and have more faith in his administration's genuine efforts at bringing to an end the worrisome situation. This was during a visit to Basari in Katsina State to meet with those adversely affected by what he called the senseless killings, maiming and destruction of properties and by armed bandits in the area. Here again is State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
It was an emotional sight to behold as President Muhammadu Buhari empathized with the victims, relations and people of Batari and 7 other frontline local government areas afflicted by armed banditry and other acts of criminality. He described as saddening that the consequences of such actions not only brought untold hardship but affected the socio-economic life of the people. The protection of lives and property, the president emphasized, is prime to the essence of government, and therefore his administration will not shirk its responsibility in securing Nigeria and Nigerians.
Na tabbatar muku muna kwana muna tashi da bakin ciki na ta'addanci da cin mutunci da 'yan ta'adda suke yi. Da yarda Allah za mu yi amfani da sojoji da 'yan sanda da sauran ma'aikatan gwamnati mu ga bayansu insha Allah.
President Buhari, however, enjoined the people to share all information about the bandits and other criminal elements in their areas with security operatives for hastened action. While acknowledging Katsina State government's effort at facilitating the operational capabilities of the security agencies posted to the area, the president directed NEMA to act fast and lend appropriate support to the victims in all the affected frontline local government areas. Governor Aminu Bello Masari confirmed massive deployment of security personnel and equipment to the state on the orders of the president. This, amongst other measures adopted, he said, are pointers to the seriousness with which the security concern is being addressed by the federal government.
The Katsina State government really appreciates the federal government concern over our deteriorating security situation. The recent deployment of additional security personnel and the equipment to this area has led to the drastic reduction in the frequency of the attacks. But there are still sporadic attacks with attendant kidnap and cattle rustling incidents.
This he attributed to the vastness of Ruga forest that provides cover for the criminal elements. On his part, the Emir of Katsina, Abdul Mumin Kabir Usman, advised the people against reprisal attacks, which he said could lead to anarchy, and called for more patience and tolerance as security agencies tackle those against the progress of the state and indeed the nation. From Katsina, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Army has denied the report in some quarters, stating that its troop of 9th Brigade on patrol were involved in the killing of 3 people in Isheri Olofin community of Kosofe local government area of Lagos State. A statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 9th Brigade, Major Clement Abaide, says the Army patrol team only responded to a distress call and averted clash among the Isheri Boys cult group allegedly terrorizing the community. He says there was no fire exchange between the troops and the alleged cult group throughout the period of the troops' intervention, and no one was killed as alleged in a misleading report. Rather, one soldier was injured by the cultist. He notes that peace has since been restored to the affected area. He requests the public to disregard the baseless story that is being circulated. The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, has expressed a high level of satisfaction over activities of officers and men of the Corps during the Eid al-Kabir celebration, saying it was quite successful. The Corps Marshal said this at the strategy session with the Corps' High Command on the Ember Month campaign. Over now to Oyeyemi Ajayi for details.
Days after the Eid al-Kabir celebration, which saw most officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps at different points and locations, all in the bid to ensure safety on the highways, the Corps Marshal is setting the agenda and plans for Ember period that spans through September to December.
The technical session is to look at conducting another road safety impact assessment.
To tackle headlong is the imposition of speed limiting device in all commercial vehicles, which the Corps Marshal says will reduce overspeeding and accidents on Nigerian roads. The Corps Marshal was emphatic on the no going back on the September 2nd deadline given to tricycles and motorcycle riders to get their number plates, as these will go a long way in reducing crimes in the country.
From the word go, it's an act of lawlessness to put a motorcycle or tricycle on the highway without being registered. That is what we call road tax evasion. The law is very clear. What we are doing, ideally, we ought not to even serve any notice. We're supposed to go on full blast arrest, but again, looking at the present social, economics, and security situations in the country, we need to really reawaken the need for the road users to do what is expected.
The Corps Marshal reiterated the need for construction workers working along the highways and roads to comply with road signs erections. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Let's now join Dotun in Lagos for top stories from that zone. Good afternoon to you, Dotun. We now take a short break. Nationwide continues shortly.
Protocol and event management are special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 2-week course on protocol, event management, and public relations to upgrade the capacities of practitioners. The course will equip participants with modern skills, techniques, and international best practices in protocol, event management, and public relations. Also, a special 4-week intensive course on non-linear editing techniques will run concurrently. The course will expose participants to modern techniques and technologies of non-linear editing. Take advantage of this course to hone your professional skills for premium packaging of your programs and reports. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. Date 19th to 30th August 2019 for the course on protocol, event management, and public relations. 19th August to 13th September 2019 for basic non-linear editing techniques. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College JOS, training you to be the best you want to be.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first. Get it fresh.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's Nationwide. Moving on, in democracies, the business of governance is the collective responsibility of all arms of government. This explains the resolve of the 9th Senate to support the federal government through the enactment of laws that will further strengthen its workings. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, gave this assurance at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on arrival from Holy Pilgrimage. Over now to Ignatius Mko.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, was in Saudi Arabia for the Holy Pilgrimage. It was 10 days of prayers and supplication for the unity and progress of Nigeria. Upon his return at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the early hours of Thursday, he re-emphasized the need for national unity, which was his major prayer point.
We prayed for our country to achieve optimum security, to have unity, to have stability, peace, and of course progress.
Senator Lawan seized the opportunity to reaffirm the commitment of the 9th Senate in making sure that Nigeria returns to January to December budget cycle for a more impactful fiscal policy.
It is our prayer and hope that this National Assembly will be a National Assembly that will continue to work for Nigerians for the benefit of those who voted for us. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the executive side of government that we need to reverse the undesirable trend of the current budget cycle in Nigeria.
He explained that with the recent constitution of parliamentary committees, the 9th National Assembly is now more prepared to work for Nigerians. In Abuja, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
And the Nigerian prisons is now to be known and addressed as the Nigerian Correctional Service. This is sequel to the signing into law of the bill seeking to amend the act that establishes the Nigerian Prison Service by President Muhammadu Buhari as amended by the Senate, tagged Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019. State House correspondent Jide Onifade completes the report.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters in the Senate, Ita Enang, briefs the press on these two acts.
The Correctional Services Act repeals the Nigeria Prison Service, changes the name of Nigeria Prison Service to Nigeria Correctional Service.
As he explains, there are two main faculties of the Correctional Service, namely custodial service and non-custodial service.
The non-custodial service is intended for reformation. Persons do not stay in custody. You allow for mediation, conciliation, community service as punishment as will be ordered by the court. The custody service is to take control of persons legally interned in safe, secure, and humane conditions. Is to convey persons who have been sentenced to prison to prison. Then the prison service is to, while you are there, identify causes why the person may have committed the offense and take steps at reformation.
Apart from the general correctional measures provided by the Act, an inmate who is on death row could have his sentence commuted to a life imprisonment. That is, if he has spent 10 years without the sentence being implemented. The second act assented to by the President is the Federal Universities of Agriculture Amendment No. 2, Act 2019. The Act amends the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act to change the name of the Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi in Benue State, to Joseph Taka University. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
To health matters now, and there is high expectation of improved service delivery at the Nasarawa State Dalhatu Araf Specialist Hospital, Lafia, as government is set to provide modern hospital equipment and facilities. Governor Abdullahi Sule says the initiative is for efficient service delivery. Over now to Abubakar Usman Akwanga.
Governor Abdullahi Sule was accompanied by the State Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe and other top functionaries of government. Some of the areas earmarked for the purchase of modern hospital equipment and replacement of obsolete facilities include patient wards, radiology department, and finishing touches to some other infrastructure.
I discovered that some of the facilities, especially inside the wards, are in very bad shape. Again, locally, we have some resources on site. And we have given the go-ahead now to ensure that we fix all those broken down facilities.
Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Ikrama Hassan, says the expected improvement will make the hospital functional as a referral center.
The hospital has just had expansion. We have a new complex where we have additional wards, clinics, admin block, and a new radiology building. But the old structure of the hospital also requires some renovation. And so that is one of the major reasons why His Excellency came to see what are our needs and what needs to be done.
Governor Abdullahi Sule caught up with a minor who is battling with cancer and upset his medical bills in Lafia. Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And a report just in says Daura in Katsina State is now one of the many communities to host an Air Force amenity. The Nigerian Air Force Reference Hospital, a modern facility with the latest medical technology. The hospital is expected to provide expert health care and emergency services for personnel and surface troops in the front lines of tackling banditry and other security challenges in the northwest region. Treatment centers at the facility include a cancer screening center, laboratory, radiography center with the latest technology including MRI, CT scan, and ECG, among other technologies. At the inaugural ceremony attended by President Muhammadu Buhari, service chiefs, governors of northwestern states and key security experts, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar restated NAF's commitment to battling insurgency and other security challenges in all theaters of operations across northern Nigeria. To other matters now, for those who are frequent visitors to markets, especially in rural areas, will appreciate this next report. It is a practice among sellers of food and other consumables to leave what they sell open to dust and other unhealthy elements. This, we understand, is what attracted the curiosity of NTA Duse correspondent Mohammed Musa Askira to examine the safety of such consumables. Over now to Mohammed.
Health statistics have shown that more than 200,000 persons die in Nigeria every year of food poisoning caused by contamination during processing, preservation and serving of those foods to consumers who come to patronize the vendors. In an environment where airborne diseases are common, selling of food items exposed without cover could serve as open invitation to such diseases. Governments at all levels have been spending public money on buying drugs to treat patients of diseases that could have been prevented through ensuring proper hygiene of environment and consumables. It is common sight in most Nigerian rural markets selling of edible items in the open. Medical research indicates that most minor diseases people are suffering from these days are as a result of the intake of contaminated food and drinks.
People who sell foods and foodstuff should ensure that proper hygiene is instituted when handling food. But also, eateries and restaurants need to put in place measures that will ensure that our food is not contaminated.
In those days, environmental sanitation officers were engaged by the government to ensure that environment is kept clean and foods sold to the public are healthy and fit for consumption. It is hoped that the government will act to stem the tide of the menace. After all, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Mohammed Musa Askira, NTA News.
And it's now time to join Sadia in our Sokoto Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. It's over to you, Sadia.
Hawa, good evening and welcome to Sokoto. The European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS has commended the active coordination by the 7 northwest states in curtailing security across the zone. The mission on a courtesy visit to Governor of Sokoto State, Amin Waziri Tambol, also presented a document containing their report on the 2019 election observation in Nigeria. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila has details.
The European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, led by head of delegation Ambassador Ketil Kassen, said the active coordination by the government and security agencies has doused the initial tension in the zone on activities of bandits and kidnappers. The hope of the delegation is to see an end to the challenges as people need peace, which will fundamentally provide opportunities for development. The delegation also provided an action plan on needs, strategies and policies that will address the developmental challenges in the state in the areas of education, health, right of the girl child and other spotlight initiatives.
We have had a very interesting discussion on what are the possibilities of future support of the European Union here.
Mr. Carlson also presented the report of the 2019 general elections in Nigeria by the EU, saying the contents and recommendations, if properly studied and applied, will help in the future elections in deepening and strengthening democracy. Governor Amin Waziri Tambol dwelled on the EU's future support in the state in the areas of education, environment, gender, good governance and electoral reforms. The governor appealed to the National Assembly to commence the process of electoral reforms in Nigeria.
Because without a proper
legal framework, we can hardly achieve what we want to achieve in reforming the electoral process in Nigeria, especially those having to do with the electronic voting.
In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar has described dialogue as the best way of resolving security threats. The Sultan was speaking when he received the new General Officer commanding 8th Division, Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Jide Jalil Ogunlade, who paid him a courtesy visit at his palace. Sheikh Muhammad Detti completes the report.
The Sultan reminded the GOC of the enormous task ahead of him, urging him to do his best. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar commended the effort of security outfits for their courage in ensuring that security challenges are reduced to the barest minimum. General Officer Commanding 8th Division Sokoto, Major General Jide Jalil Ogulade, is at the palace to formally introduce himself to the Sultan. He thanked the Sultan for the honor and hospitality accorded him and his officers. The Sultan also received the head of European Union, Ambassador Ketil Kassen, at the palace. The Sultan appreciated the European Union concern about security issues in Nigeria and its contribution to healthcare services. He described the partnership with the EU as a means of strengthening efforts of curtailing security threats in the country. Ambassador Ketil informed the Sultan that the EU will engage in dialogue on issues of banditry in Nigeria. He also emphasized on the EU intention to help in the healthcare services in northwestern states of Nigeria. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
The people of Sabon Birni in Sokoto State who fled to Niger Republic for safety due to the activities of armed bandits have returned home. This is as a result of the peace initiative by the state government. Mohammed Nasir has the report.
These are the internally displaced persons who returned to their villages after fleeing for safety due to the activities of bandits in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. Their return followed restoration of peace due to the peace initiative effort between the government and the bandits. To support the internally displaced persons and make life comfortable, the state government provided relief items to them. Bags of assorted grains, bundle of mats, and other essential items were distributed to the victims. The victims, expressing appreciation to the government for the gesture, also call for provision of adequate security in their localities to enable them go back to their houses. With the peace initiative agreement with the bandits, all the captives from the area have been released.
3 months old at the back, people of Samnoga cannot remain in their hometown, but all the people now, they went back to their hometown. Government
pledged to maintain the agreement to ensure continued peace in all the affected areas. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
That's all from Sokoto. It's now back to Hawa in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Sadia. And moving on, the federal government has emphasized the need for key players in the conduct of statutory marriages to adhere strictly to the legal requirements in accordance with the Marriage Act to avoid a breach of the law and in turn diminish the sanctity of marriage. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Georgina Ehuria, said this at a conference on the conduct of statutory marriage in Port Harcourt. Ijoma Ugweke reports.
Players in the conduct of marriages from Southeast, South geopolitical zones have been addressed at a conference in Port Harcourt on how best to achieve harmonious conduct of marriages in Nigeria. The conference dwelt on issues ranging from the poor understanding of the Marriage Act, non-adherence to its provisions, proliferation of certificates of marriage, to the controversy between the local government and the Federal Ministry of Interior on who is constitutionally mandated to perform the function. The Permanent Secretary tasked stakeholders on the need to build synergy capable of harmoniously resolving issues that militate against the conduct of statutory marriages.
They all are expected to issue only the federal marriage certificate issued by the Ministry of Interior in Form E.
You must make sure that the church is licensed by the Ministry of Interior and that the priest who is also wedding you is also a recognized minister of the church.
Stakeholders articulated concrete measures expected to help achieve harmonious compliance in the conduct of statutory marriage in Nigeria. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
And following our earlier hitch, I'm told Dotun is now ready for us in Lagos. Dotun? Okay, I guess Lagos is still unready. Maybe we should join Obehi in Lagos. In Benin, sorry.
Hello, Awa. Thanks for joining us in Benin. Some traders at the Wulu Spare Parts Market in Benin say they are putting the fire incident, which raised a section of the market, behind them as they pick up what could be salvaged to enable them continue to earn a living. Adogbejo Jigba was at the scene for an update.
The fire incident, which destroyed automobile wares running into billions of naira, affected about 81 lock-up shops and those who use caravans, bringing it to about 120.
As we speak now, you see everybody now, we are still counting our loss.
When we saw fire at midnight, around 11 o'clock, everybody was on fire. It's a tragedy to the entire union and to individual.
They claim that the Nigerian Army Fire Service and that of the University of Benin were the first respondents. Efforts to get the officials of the State Fire Service to comment proved abortive as they referred the news crew to the Ministry of Special Duties. The commissioner could not be reached as at the time of filing this report. The question on the lips of the owners is where will they start from to enable them get back on their feet. In the meantime, an 8-member committee of inquiry has been constituted to examine the remote and immediate cause and establish the full extent of damage and loss, effectiveness and otherwise of emergency response units and the culpability of any person, group or corporation of the incidents. This is sequel to Governor Obaseki's visit to the market to assure the traders of government intervention.
Once the team that have put in place complete their evaluation and contact the people affected, will then make a decision.
The fire incident occurred in the early hours of Tuesday. In Benin, Adogbeji Ojegba, NTA News.
The General Officer Commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Anthony Omozoje, desires a professionally responsive army in the discharge of its constitutional duties. He expressed this while on a 3-day familiarization tour of 4 brigades' area of responsibility in Benin City. Jude Aweke reports.
The tour began with an interaction with senior military officers before he unveiled the solar-powered street lights installed to enhance the power situation and security architecture of the brigade and its environs. He also inspected the refurbished vehicles by the brigade commander. The tour also took the GOC to the Nigerian Army School of Supply and Transport, where he inaugurated the renovated driving model room. At the Ekenwa military cantonment, it was the unveiling of renovated projects, including 322 Artillery Regiment empty yard and the brigade's garrison headquarters, earlier destroyed by rainstorm.
I'm very happy with what I've seen, and I commend the officers and men of 4 Brigade for their attitude and commitment to work.
The GOC and his team were also at the government house, where they were received by Governor Godwin Obaseki.
We will, it's as part of our mantra, again, ensure that we work very, very closely with our security agencies.
At the palace of the Oba of Benin, the GOC was received warmly, being a son of the soil. The Benin monarch expressed worry over the rising cases of insecurity in the country, despite federal government's efforts to stem the tide.
To sit down and address this is important that it should not be overlooked. We are very worried, no doubt.
Major General Mozoji is the 40th officer commanding the 2 Division of the Nigerian Army. In Benin, Jude Aweke, NTA News.
Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has lauded the commitment of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State in turning the state around, especially in infrastructural development. He gave the commendation after a tour of some projects of the state government. Wasiu Rauf has details.
The literary giant, who was conducted around some ongoing projects of Akeredolu's administration in Akure, the state capital, described the infrastructural transformation in the state as a remarkable legacy that has changed the face of the state. He therefore commended the people of the state for electing Oluwarotimi Akeredolu as their governor.
You don't need any further posting from me. We just look at the evidence, and that's all the comment I have to make. The facts show the light.
Meanwhile, the state governor, in his response, explained that the execution of the project is intended to make life worth living for the people, saying in spite of the huge debt profile and needing resources at the inception of his administration, he is determined to raise the standard of governance in the state. He described Professor Wole Soyinka as a global literary icon and priceless gift to Africa. In Akure, Wasiu Rauf, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's over to Hawa in Abuja for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you, Obehi in Benin. And to other stories now. About 3 years after Nigerians reportedly lost over 18 billion naira to the MMM scam, Ponzi schemes are again on the rise in the country. Discussing this on Good Morning Nigeria today, Nigerians were again cautioned to be wary of the get-rich-quick syndrome under any guise, while regulatory agencies were urged to increase their surveillance and enforcement of relevant laws. Ekemini Williams completes the report.
It is widely held that Nigerians cannot forget in a hurry the MMM Ponzi scheme scam after the 2016 catastrophe in which thousands of people lost over 18 billion naira.
Some of them are offering you 100% return of your money in 1 month. I mean, even armed robbery couldn't be as lucrative as Ponzi scheme are positive returns.
There are therefore apprehensions over the resurface of another form of Ponzi scheme, loom money. This, many believe, will endanger the financial investment market and affect gullible Nigerians with a get-rich-quick mentality.
And when at that formative age, you believe in miracles. So process leaves you. So you begin at every point in time, when someone tells you something, adding with the fact that you also believe in miracles and you don't believe in process. So that miracle mindset will allow you invest in something that would give you that big break without a process.
For others, the way out include expanding the investment space and enhancing institutional capacity to monitor and enhance existing laws.
There has to be proper education, but more importantly, I keep emphasizing, we need to strengthen our regulatory framework.
Project development and your financial engineering model. This is where we always have a big issue. Everybody talks about access to finance. So that means we have to get our venture capital system to start working in Nigeria, whether government or private sector.
When anybody calls you to invest money, check whether that person is registered by SEC.
There was also a call for the review of school curriculum to create awareness on the due process of wealth creation. Majority of viewers who contributed to the program through tweets condemned the resurgence of Ponzi schemes in the country. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And it is a known fact that apart from being one of the items that take a large portion of workers' income, housing plays a major role in the socio-political and economic discourse in most societies. It is against this background that the federal government's Staff Housing Loans Board and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria are strengthening ties towards the provision of affordable housing for public servants in Nigeria. Adebola Brooksling Sunday completes the report.
For Florence Adewale, a civil servant, the negative attitude of her landlord became a motivational factor for her to own her home through a housing cooperative system.
From Kefi to Abuja every day is not always easy, it's stressful, but at least we are comfortable that nobody is sending us text message or flashing us that our house rent has expired.
Kingsley David is still living in a rented apartment. He cannot wait to have a house of his own.
Housing in Abuja is something else. A lot of civil servants save from January to December just to pay only rent. What about other necessities?
The Nigerian government year on year have been putting in place modalities to meet the housing needs of the citizenry, which statistics say is about 17 million in deficits. Led by the Executive Secretary, Hannatu Fika, top management staff of the Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board are in the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to boost the synergy between the two sister agencies of government in the housing sector.
We are aware of the challenges that public servants go through when December comes. Public servant has nothing in his pockets, and then the landlords come calling.
Recapitalization of the housing sector and using affordable housing as a motivational tool are some of the talking points at the meeting.
Creation of mortgages, you have to pay equity of 10%, you have to pay a lot of other charges. With the rent on, you just go in as a tenant and then start paying rent either monthly or quarterly or even annually. And that becomes your payment of the house.
So having a house is tied to motivation, is tied to job satisfaction.
This partnership is expected to meet the housing need of Florence Adewale, Kingsley David, and their likes, and at the same time enable them to contribute more to national development. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And Nigeria and Pakistan have finalized work on a new trade policy towards reviving the textile industry in the country. Joshua Ojito reports that the policy is also to increase volume of trade between the two nations.
Nigeria and Pakistan have for long enjoyed bilateral ties, especially in areas of military cooperation and recently counter-terrorism. Now, the two countries are working to improve their economies with a new trade policy that will see Pakistan supplying local textile industries with raw materials for production to support federal government's drive to promote made-in-Nigeria goods.
Nigerian policies of the President Buhari are that they don't want to encourage import of finished goods. So what we are going to focus on is to provide the raw materials so that the Nigerian textiles, they take off once again as they were in the previous decades.
A forum such as this to celebrate the 72nd independence anniversary of Pakistan has provided another platform for the two countries to renew commitment to implementation of the trade agreement.
Nigeria is always open to initiatives such as this and is open to training in the sciences. We acknowledge Pakistan's cooperation in international fora and hope to continue our shared support for one another.
Both countries were former British colonies and share many things in common. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And the Operation Wild Stroke says it has recovered not less than 2,000 rustled cows and arrested 10 suspects for armed banditry, kidnapping and arms manufacturing. Commander of the operation, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, said the suspects were picked up in Benue and Nasarawa State. Charles Abba completes the report.
Operation Wild Stroke has continued to fight armed banditry, kidnapping and other criminal activities in Benue, Nasarawa and Taraba states to instill peace and tranquility. Commander of Operation Wild Stroke, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, explained that the latest operation embarked upon by the command led to the clampdown of the suspected armed bandits and kidnappers from Benue and Nasarawa states.
Enough is enough. We will not tolerate banditry. We will not tolerate kidnapping. We will not tolerate other acts of extortion and criminalities in the Benue State in particular, but not just Benue State, but also Nasarawa and Taraba states.
And recovered one AK-47 and one self-operational rifle, 3 locally made pistols, 4 locally made guns and ammunition.
The 5 are from Benue State and 5 from Nasarawa State, but one was shot there by 2 during exchange of fire at Zakibian.
Major General Yekini, who attributed the success of the operation to information from members of the public, assured the people of the command's determination to reduce crime to its barest minimum. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And Bright in Enugu is next on our lineup.
Thank you. Welcome to Enugu.
Leaders of Miyetti Allah Northern Community in Enugu State has commenced sensitization of their members on the need to work with the Enugu State government and security agencies in fishing out criminal elements in their midst to continue to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere prevalent in the state. Jude Abugu monitored the exercise and reports that the sensitization team visited some markets within and outside the metropolis.
The team, comprising leaders of Miyetti Allah, Northern Community, and leaders of various markets where Northerners carry out their businesses, kicked off the sensitization exercise at Akwata Perishable Goods Market. They were received by the traders who complied fully with the directive of closing their businesses for the crucial security sensitization. The team also visited New Artisan Cattle Market and Oknano Cattle Market, where they reminded the traders how they have been coexisting peacefully with the people of Enugu State over the years.
Whoever that will cause breach of the security in Enugu State will be exposed, inshallah.
At Gariki Ugwaba Market, where the team terminated activities for the day, the excited traders were motivated to hear that the efforts of their members in ensuring that the state is secure and peaceful are already yielding positive results.
Because of this sensitization movement, from yesterday, that is and this morning, we've achieved success. We've arrested 4 persons and hand over to various security officers.
They assured their leaders of their cooperation as they work towards devising means of identifying every trader that transacts business in their various domains. The security sensitization train will now move to various Fulani settlements in the state to continue with its message of vigilance and security consciousness. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
In order to boost quality healthcare delivery in Enugu State, the wife of the governor, Monica Ogwani, has donated cervical cancer screening machines to the ESU Teaching Hospital, Parkland, Enugu, and Bishop Shanahan General Hospital in Nsukka. The donations made through her pet project, Ugo Touch of Life Foundation, were in fulfillment of her promise to make the machines available in 3 senatorial zones in the state. Susan Eze has details.
Based on her observations during her medical missions of the plight of cervical cancer patients, most of whom go through the trauma of late presentation, Mrs. Ugwani explained that she decided to provide the machines in the 3 senatorial zones of the state to increase the chances of early detection and treatment. She regretted that most patients present late due to ignorance and lack of access to screening centers. She enjoined the hospitals to give considerations to indigent patients who cannot afford the fees. Mrs. Ugwani also called on other well-meaning individuals to make quality health care available to all.
My main reason for opening this center in hospitals is because I want it maintained. I want it handled by experts.
The management of ESU Teaching Hospital, Parkland, Enugu, and Bishop Shanahan General Hospital in Nsukka thanked her for the donations.
We want to thank Your Excellency for your generosity. We are satisfied with the completeness of the facility that you have deployed here.
Mrs. Ugwani's gesture stems from her desire to provide indigents in the state access to quality health care. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
A non-governmental organization under the name Great Anambra Forum has called for the sustenance of zoning arrangements in the choice of who occupies Anambra Government House in 2022. The forum, in a press briefing organized at Awka, the state capital, said sustaining the zoning arrangement will save the state from unnecessary electioneering spending. Uchenna Nwokoye has the details.
The forum said in their recent survey conducted using a sample from the 336 wards in the state, some of the respondents affirmed the zoning of the governorship position.
We are doing this to strengthen the resolve of our people that want to do better this time around.
while noting that they will advocate for all political parties present in the state to get their candidates from Anambra South Senatorial Zone. The forum advised all political leaders not to encourage any aspirant that does not come from the choice zone.
The forum strongly urged in the Anambra South to search for credible candidates with character.
Great Anambra Forum is a non-governmental organization that comprises of technocrats, politicians, professionals, and trade union leaders. From Oka, Uchenna Wekoyo, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this commercial break.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
With heavy hearts but total submission to the will of God Almighty, we announce the passing on to glory of our beloved brother, husband, father, uncle, cousin, and nephew, Akinloye Olusegun Joseph Oyebanji, who slept in the Lord on July 27, 2019. Burial arrangements: Christian wake on August 15 at Akinloye's residence, Kionigbi, Isin local government area of Kwara State, at 5 p.m. Funeral service and Thanksgiving held on August 16 at All Saints Anglican Church, Okionigbi, at 10 a.m. before interment at the church burial ground at Okionigbi in Kwara State. Rest in peace, Akinloye Oyebanji. Signed, Olubunmi Oyebanji, for the family.
Thanks for rejoining us. Sports now. Nigeria cruises into semi-finals of the Women Afro Basket Championship in Dakar. Over now to Kene Imagbodike for details.
Nigeria's D Tigresses are through to the semi-finals of the 2019 Afro Basket Championship, currently holding in Dakar, Senegal.
Lineup as you're going to see for Nigeria. Look at the beautiful pass over to Agoke, who drills a three.
The 2017 African champions Thursday defeated the Democratic Republic of Congo 79-46 points to advance to the next round. More athletes of Team Nigeria have continued to depart and arrive in barges ahead of their contests at the 12th African Games in Morocco. Nigeria's Falconers are in Casablanca, where they have been grouped against Cameroon in Group B of the women's football event, as coach Christopher Danjuma and his team begin their quest for gold on Sunday against the South Africans. In a related development, 8 male and 8 female taekwondos drawn over different weight categories will on Friday intensify preparations in Morocco as they bid for podium finishes. In golf, Chairman, Board of Trustees, IBB International Golf and Country Club Abuja, General IBM Haruna, has charged young golfers in the country to focus on competing at the world stage. General Haruna gave the charge Thursday in Abuja while performing the ceremonial tee-off of the 18-hole 2019 IBB Junior Open Golf Championship organized by the ladies section of the club, with over 150 young golfers competing for honors over 2 days.
This is a stage where we start grooming them to play tournaments. Hopefully they will represent us in the future Olympics and world tours.
We're trying to develop young golfers and youth because we're preparing them for the Olympics.
The championship ends on Friday. With sports update, Kenan Ima Aburike, NTA News.
And next is Friday's weather report. And the weather report wraps nationwide this Thursday. Many thanks for being part of it. Do stay with us on the network service for more reports. I am Hawa Salihu Adama. Good evening.